The Progs, still in force in the early 80s, a super group of progressive musicians. At number 28 on my fancy playlist, The Smile Has Left Your Eyes, very poetic, by Asia. On my fancy playlist, November 20th, 1983. The album is Alpha. This was the follow-up to Don't Cry. Don't Cry was the first single off that album. That went to wrote down the chart position of that song, went to number 10 on Billboard's Hot 100, Don't Cry. That was in the summer of 83, and then The Smile Has Left Your Eyes. Didn't do quite as well, though. Went to number 34, but still got that progressive orchestration, that majestic sound that's integral to the sound of Asia, to the sound of those progressive bands back in the day. Now here's the rundown. John Wetton, bass player in this band, Asia, formerly of King Crimson. We got Jeff Downes and Steve Howe of Yes in Asia, as well as Carl Palmer of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yes. Lucky Man, Only the Beginning, and was Carnival, I believe was the name of the record back in 1973. Brain Salad Surgery, remember that, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Well, all these progressive vibes flooding into this record, flooding into these records by Asia they came out with, that they astonishingly commercial for a group of progressive musicians. The heat of the moment went to number 4 on Billboard's Hot 100. Got that cacophony of arena-sized guitar riffs just blasting away in that record, and you got the Only Time Will Tell with the majestic synthesizers just pouring it on, and that went to number 17, I believe, Only Time Will Tell on Billboard's Hot 100 back in the summer of 1982, and that was from their debut album called Asia, and then we got Alpha came after that. John Wetton, he wrote this record. He wrote the lyrics to this record, The Smile Has Left Your Eyes. The primary songwriters in Asia was John Wetton and Jeff Downes. John Wetton wrote this song about Jeff Downes. Jeff Downes was in a downward spiral over a girlfriend. Oh, it was about a girl. He was just bummed out about a girl. Just it wasn't working. And it resonated. Jeff Downes' situation resonated with John Wetton. I could relate to this. After all, he sang, John Wetton himself, he sang Heat of the Moment about his girlfriend Jill, who he later married and then divorced later on. John Wetton, he went straight home. He sat down at the piano, thinking about the situation that his bandmate Jeff Downes was in over this girl. He just tore up about this girl, Jeff Downes. John Wetton, he, boom, has a massive epiphany, writes the song in 5 minutes. That's it. The Smile Has Left Your Eyes. Did I mention the chart position of this record? I believe I did. Just barely made top 40 on Billboard's Hot 100. I tell you what, here's the deal about John Wetton, formerly of King Crimson. Boy, the Court of King Crimson. Does anybody remember the Court of King Crimson? That was off their first album. That song was put out as a single. The brilliant Court of King Crimson put out as a single here in the States back in early 1970. Went to number 80 on Billboard's Hot 100. Obviously not commercial enough to be top 40, but I gotta read you a lyric from the Court of King Crimson. I'm gonna read you a lyric from that song. Quote unquote, first, the Court of King Crimson. This is the genius, the sheer unbridled genius of progressive rock. This is the cerebral of rock and roll. The rusted chains of prison moons are shattered by the sun. I walk a road, horizons change, the tournament's begun, the purple piper plays his tune. The choir softly sing 3 lullabies in an ancient tongue for the court of the Crimson King. God, man, remember back in the days? King Crimson, Jeff Tall. Remember Jeff Tall of Passion Play and Moody Blues? And yes, back in the late 60s and early 70s, some of that vibe coming back into this group, Asia, though certainly a lot more commercial, though. The Smile Has Left Your Eyes at number 28 on my fancy playlist. November 20th, 1983.